Meeting for Tuesday, September 23rd. Welcome everyone here, and for those who are online, first off, we will start with the approval of the minutes from August 26, 2025. So I need a motion to put that on the floor. Dr. Blair and Ms. Member Phelan. Any questions, comments, updates on the minutes? Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I need to, yeah, I'll pause. I need to bring Member Elsasser on. So I need a motion to allow Member Brian Elsasser to join remotely. Member Duncan and Member Renault. So that should come up on your screen as a vote item. So if you would, please vote. I may have to refresh myself. So we're voting to have Member Elsasser join remotely. Rob? Okay. You want us manually to put in for you, Linda? Okay. So Member Daley, you vote aye? Okay, we'll record that. And Member Renault is voted? We're good? Okay. All right, thank you for the vote. Mr. Member Elsasser, you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now we will move to the approval of the minutes. We did have our motions on that. So we will go with Dr. Blair and Member Phelan made the seconds. Any questions or changes or amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, I will ask everyone to make their vote.
I vote aye.
All right, Member Elsasser's an aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you for the votes. We have no informational items this month, so we'll move to our two resolutions. Our first resolution is the 2026 health insurance premiums and subsidy rates. So I need a motion. Member Williams and Member Bryant as a second. I'm going to ask Ms. Loftus to give us an update on this. It's all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. All right, before you, we have our recommendation for the 2026 health insurance premiums and subsidy rates. If you recall, this is where we're setting the 2026 premiums for the employees as well as the employer portion of our health insurance premiums. So in 2025, this was our first year of being part of the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative Pool, that IPBC. And so again, that will be, we'll continue to be a member in 2026. So as part of that, our insurance claims goes to the underwriter actuary, as it has in the past, to look to see how do our claims stack up and what type of increase or decrease for rates will we get for the next year. So based upon the analysis, our health insurance premiums are increasing over an average of 9.1%. So based upon the level, plan, and coverage, it's a range of between 7 to 11% of an increase. And so again, we're going to have our same three plans. We have a PPO $1,000 deductible, single deductible plan, a $3,500 single deductible plan, and then our $2,500 single deductible qualified health insurance, qualified high deductible health insurance plan. These rates were discussed and reviewed with our HIAC committee, again, our Health Insurance Advisory Committee, which we had started last year that helped us, look at each plan, at the rates, at going with the pool. So again, we discussed those rates, and this is the proposal in front of you that's in your packet for what HIAC and county administration are recommending. In addition to those three plans for our active employees, we also have retirees that are eligible for our health insurance plans, which has always been the case. Retirees that are not yet Medicare eligible, those retirees will still be able to choose one of those three plans that our active employees are part of. Their premiums also listed in your packet. They pay 100% of that unit cost, that total cost of the health insurance plan. And then we also have Medicare eligible retirees. And new this year, IPBC has secured 4 Medicare supplemental plans that they're able to enroll in. So those rates, again, are in your packet. All of those rates for those 4 supplemental plans are actually in 26 will be lower than what the plan is offered right now in 25. And then between those 4 plans, there's also comparable coverage kind of related to the vision, dental, if there's hearing aids involved, those types of coverages. So it's some new options that we're excited for to be able to offer to those Medicare eligible retirees. Those are the rates. In addition, we also looked at the subsidy. If you recall, and it's actually been since 2022, the board has approved each year a subsidy looking at being able to alleviate the portion of the impact to the employees' premiums. So in 2025, when HIAC and county administration reviewed those rates, it was just determined that we would just provide a subsidy to the family coverage only, just again based upon the rates and how the increases came in. And so again, with HIAC and county administration, we looked at that recommendation. We looked at the rates as far as what was coming in for 2026. And the recommendation is that we would still continue a subsidy, and it would actually be the same dollar amount in 2026 as it was in 25, and again, only for that family coverage. Just looking at the amount of the increase, the family typically sees the larger increase just because the amount of claims, there's more people that are contributing to that claims dollar amount. With these rates that are in your packet, it does not apply to necessarily the lieutenants, deputies, and corrections, because if you recall when we did those negotiations, those premiums were already determined in their collective bargaining agreement, and so we'll continue to honor that as well. If you have any questions, I know that was a lot of information. The rates are in your packet. I'm happy to kind of walk through those if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll open it to the floor.
Okay. Member Phelan.
Could you remind me what the makeup of the HIAC committee, the advisory committee, who's included on that group? And then my second question would be, you've referenced administration and HIAC both playing roles. Could you talk a little bit about, is that a joint effort? Are those separate conversations? And
Sure. So on the HIAC committee, it is county administration, so myself, and then Christine, who handles all of our health insurance enrollments and those types of things. Steve is on the committee, and then we have a representative from just about every bargaining group, as well as some non-bargaining group employees. So that way we make sure departments as well as our bargaining groups are represented. And then as far as discussions, definitely last year it was, as we got the information that was shared with HIAC. This year we've met twice with HIAC. It was kind of like shortly after open enrollment. We wanted to let, the HIAC members know kind of how the enrollment numbers played out now that we were going to these new health insurance plans. And then as we waited, as soon as we got the increases in the rates from IPBC, then we met with HIAC to kind of, show them what those rates were, discuss, as far as what we were looking at in terms of the recommendation and what we were looking at for budget purposes as well.
Oh, good questions. Others, Member Ellison.
I just wondered if there was anyone here from the advisory committee, employee perspective, that could share the
I would
conversation.
ask maybe Mr. Captain Mattel sits on it. He's very engaged in it, and I appreciate his engagement. So I would ask him if he'd be willing to maybe sit next to Angela and use the mic and share your experience of what was worked well and maybe some feedback. And I know you're not bashful.
I'm a little bashful. What questions could I answer from being a representative?
I was just wondering kind of what the view from the employee team was for those on the committee that were reviewing it.
No, absolutely. I'll go back historically to last year. Last year there was a lot of second guessing and things like that at the very beginning. A lot of questions coming from being self-insured and things like that. There was some things that a lot of employees were thinking that were kept secret and things like that. Once we went through and we went through many meetings, it became clear that it is very cumbersome going through it. The nice thing is the employees now have a voice, myself included, and like she said, the members of the union, but the health department, everybody that chooses to has somebody on that committee. So we felt like we had a really large voice last year when we switched over from the consociate. That was one of the big concerns from a lot of employees. And then we went to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then we went with the rates, having the 3 plans. And we have very open discussions in there, whether or not we agree with the plans, whether or not we think they're good plans and things like that. Overall, the feedback that we've gotten has been really, in my opinion, positive. There's always going to be that employee versus employer type feeling and stuff like that. But I do believe the HIAC committee has helped to relieve some of that. And Angela hit it correctly, and she wasn't trying to give misgivings or anything else. When the rates come in, the county administration puts those rates to paper. County administration puts what their recommendation is for an HSA for the county to contribute to employees. County puts all these things together. It would be impossible to put 25 or 30 people, members of the HIAC, to go over all of this and every single time we do this. So they do that. And then where we come in, we have the opportunity to have our voice. So we had a meeting last week, and I asked some questions. Some other people asked some questions. We got answers. It was I'll give you an example about how everything's trying to be more open with everybody. It came across as a 9.1% increase for employees. Well, that it wasn't anybody trying to be misleading or anything else, but it wasn't a 9.1% increase for employees because I took myself. I had $213 I'm paying for qualified high deductible. At $213, my increase is $23. That's over 10%. It really comes out to about 11.4 or whatever else. So I asked the question to county administration. I said, I know I'm going to get asked this question, so I need to have an answer. Well, the answer was very, very well, given to us and everything else, that it was an average of 9.1%. And because of different things going on, and then we talk about the subsidy, and we talk about the contribution from the county, hopefully for the qualified high deductible. And then I asked questions about where are we sitting compared to 2 years ago to, on PPO compared to qualified high deductible. I can go on about this forever, so I'll just be quiet now. But I guess what you're asking is it worthwhile and things like that? Yes, I think the minute that the HIAC committee goes away, I think the minute you don't have the HIAC committee is the minute that you're going to start seeing a lot of questions and a lot of mistrust. And it's come a long way in the last 18 months to earn that trust back. And I'm not saying that I'm relatively new here still too, but when you can be more open on the floor and you can be more open with what's going on, that's where you're going to get the buy-in. I know there was some employees on the HIAC committee that actually took the time to do a questionnaire with some of the people in their department. And overall, you know, you look at what we were paying with Consociate a year and a half ago, and this is what I tell people. I just told our whole team here and everything else on the people I deal with, kind of what the rate increases are looking like, of course, with board approval, but the more we can get the information out, the better for the understanding. But you look what we had a year and a half ago with Consociate, and I'm not knocking anything, but you look where we're at now, we have the choice of Blue Cross, or we have the choice of St. Francis, or what's it, Carl. We a lot of different things are going on, and the rates aren't skyrocketing or anything else. And then you add in the subsidy. It's a lot of great information that we were able to learn on the HIAC committee, that you can have a voice, go back to these different places, and then it's really up to those representatives that sit on the HIAC to actually go back and give not just the information but the correct information.
Thank you for the comments. I'd ask if you have follow-up questions, please do.
I just wanted to say thank you. Didn't mean for you to be put on the spot, but I think it's important for us as a committee to hear the perspective of the employees sitting on that committee, and I'm glad it's accomplished the goal of opening up those lines of communication.
Thank you, Member Allison, for the question, 'cause that's a great question of the engagement between within the organization. We're not sides, we're all together. We're here for the purpose of finding the best solution. We had others. Jenny sat on it. CFO McCord sat on it. So we had quite a few people represented. I don't know if it's 20, it's in the 20 some. Yeah. So again, we had very active discussions last year. Almost seemed like it was like every other week, but it was great because we all needed to work through it. We also did have some feedback. I don't know if we captured the feedback. Our member from the health department surveyed employees at the health department of feedback. And I don't know, Shauna, do you have that, or Angela? Maybe you want to just verbally share some. And Captain, you were in that meeting last week. You heard the feedback too, right?
Yeah, and that's what I referenced earlier. Is some departments actually did some surveys and everything else, and the feedback was positive. But I think Shauna actually has some of the feedback statements.
Stephanie, who's on
Yes.
HIAC, shared in an email, so I'll just read you some of the comments that she forwarded to us. I am so pleased with this insurance. I can't say enough good about it. I would like to express my next one is I would like to express my satisfaction in Blue Cross Blue Shield. It has been easy to navigate, and I appreciate the self-referrals for specialists. Thank you and the HIAC team for your work and continued dedication to providing us with the best options. And then the next one is tell everyone thank you. This insurance is so much better than our old one. I don't have to worry about random bills showing up 6 months later. I appreciate everything that everyone did for us. So those are some comments that we received back.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been very positive, and as he stated, there's always small issues we'll work through. I'd also like to thank Christine on the HR department. She's done a great job of rolling this out along with Angela and the team, answering questions, being there, because as the employees transition to the new program, any new transition, there's a lot of questions. When do we sign up? Because we're getting ready for enrollment period. So last year, Christine did an awesome job. She continues to field questions. So she's there. So for any employees, if you have any questions about what the program is, how it works, anything, please reach out to Christine in HR. She will work you through it, talk you through it, explain, and make sure you're fully addressed. Any other questions on this? Okay, so these will be the new rates that we'll bring to the full board meeting beginning of October, and then we will start the new rollout the middle of November for enrollments for the 2026 period. So these will be the rates if approved by the full board and by this committee. One more round for questions? This one's very important. This was one of those topics that our employees brought up, and the administration listened and said, yes, we need to do something. So I want to thank all of Administrator Sorrell and Sean and the whole team. You took a very difficult topic, and kudos to put the Health Insurance Advisory Committee together to let the employees have a voice. and have a representative from their department have a voice on their behalf to come here. So I thought it was very transparent, and I thought it was very well done. So thank you for that. With that, I will ask for a vote.
Brian Alcisa.
Oh,
Was, yeah, somebody
Okay.
called in and cut me off.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Member Elsasser, we're voting on the health
I vote aye.
insurance premium.
Somebody
Okay.
called in and cut me off. I vote aye.
Okay. All right. Thank
sorry.
you. Megan, what do we have left for votes? Okay. If we can do. Okay, we got a manual aye from Mr. Phelan. Okay. All right. I think it's unanimous. Thank you. All right, we will now move to the second resolution, 2026 one-time lump sum health savings account HSA contribution. So I need a motion to put that on the floor. Member Duncan and Member Coates is a second. And I'm going to turn that over to Ms. Loftus to explain this one.
Okay, so this is still in conjunction with our 2026 health insurance plans. If you recall, we have a qualified high deductible health plan, which the IRS allows a health savings account, an HSA account. That is the employee's individual, their own health savings account, one at either their bank of choice, or we have the WEX as part of our IPBC pool, where they can themselves contribute to an HSA. And then there's also an option for the employer to provide a contribution. So in 2025, the county board did approve a one-time health savings account employer contribution that was to any active employee that was enrolled in the qualified high deductible health plan. There was $750 for a single coverage, $1,000 for the employee plus one, and then $1,500 for family coverage. So looking with HIAC and county administration at our 2026 health insurance rates, as well as the HSA contribution was reviewed. And based upon several factors, such as looking at the deductible for the qualified high deductible plan, looking at the subsidies, which it was only offered to family and not the employee or employee plus one, looking at with the high deductible health plan, all of those costs, 100% of those costs are from the employee's pocket until they hit that $2,500 deductible. And then also looking at the cost to the employer, the qualified high deductible is the least expensive plan. So kind of taking that into account as to why they're recommending a one-time contribution in 26 to current employees, as well as to employees in 2026 new hires that would enroll during their open enrollment period for new hires would also be eligible for the contribution. The rates would be, the recommended contribution amount would be the same as it was in 25. So again, that $750, $1,000 and $1,500.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
questions on Member Blair?
As a person of middling health, I have calculated that for me, for my employer, that the PPO makes more sense. And there is a mathematical formula you can do to show if you tend to have less than this amount of medical expenses, it's better to be on the high deductible, et cetera. Do we provide that kind of, I remember it was in the materials last year for employees, but do we make it easy for them to really do the math so that they might realize that, no, it'd be better for me to put money into the health savings than to spend the extra on premiums?
In our meetings and in our packet, there's definitely examples of how to look at that. But no, we don't have like an Excel formula for them to be able to input, all of that, just because again, it's so dependent upon what each and every individual has that we also don't want to misguide them either in terms of, which plan would be better. Throughout Plan Source, that's our benefit administration platform, there is kind of this decision IQ, which again will walk individuals through kind of asking them questions of how often do you go to the doctor? Do you have high, are you more prescription based maintenance meds, or is it more, doctor's visits, those types of things, which kind of help guide someone through those different processes or through those different plans.
Yeah, my guess was that one of the providers would have some kind of thing like that. And maybe we just encourage employees also as we look at this to go through those things so that they can do the math on that. So that might be helpful to make sure that they're aware that that exists, and that's going to help them determine what's in their best interest to do.
Okay. Good recommendation, because we do have 3 plans and they're there for a reason. Let people find the one that best fits their family, personal situation. Member Renaud.
Thank you. The ask is for $250,000. What was the spend this year?
So this year it was 200,000. And it was again limited to just active employees. It was not open to new hires in 25.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good question. Just for the clarification, the new hires, we identified, I think very accurately, that it was a gap we had for new hires that hired on after January 1 of 2025. Understanding which options, and the way we structured it for this year was they did not qualify for that lump sum. So the proposal you have in front of you is to allow new hires to hire on after January 1, 2026 to qualify for that, so they can use that, as Dr. Blair said, in their decision making as to which program they want to enroll in. Hopefully that helps maybe provide a little more clarity. Member Phelan.
At any point in time in enrollment, so like if they enrolled in November, they would still qualify for the full amount?
So for active employees, it'll be like anybody during open enrollment time in November, we open it up to all active employees that can make the election. They either waive or they select one of the new plans effective 1/1 of 26. So all of those people in November, whoever enrolls in the qualified high deductible health plan in November at open enrollment time would then get that one-time lump sum in January. And then as we have new hires in 2026, they have like a 30-day window to make their health insurance election. And so those new hires would then have the option, if they're going to enroll in the qualified high deductible, that the one time would then be contributed to their health savings account during that new hire enrollment period.
I think my November.
We didn't prorate it. If you're
That's what I'm
asking, we
asking.
didn't prorate for 2026. So if a new hire hired in January 5th could, at that point, has a 30-day window to select their insurance coverage, and if they select the high deductible, they qualify for whichever lump sum they fit, if it's single, two, or a family. If they hire in on December 30th of 2026, they still qualify for it. So we didn't prorate it through the year, just full transparency. But that's correct, right?
Correct,
There's no
yes.
proration based on when they hire in during the calendar year.
My next question would be for, I guess anyone that could answer it, but we have a bargaining unit that is, I think, higher on HSA contributions. Is there a reason we came back with this recommendation?
I would say it would be budget purposes.
Inconsistency from the current year. These are the same contributions that we provided for 2025. We carried them forward for 2026 at the same rates or at the same lump sum contribution. So for consistency among the employees, we left it the same. The bargaining units do have in their contracts and the way they bargain, there may be some variations for them.
Okay.
Right. No, any other questions on this? All right, Member Renaud.
One more. So I mean, last year I understood it was a one-time, but I don't think we can say one time again this year if we've already done it once before.
Well,
But if it becomes in perpetuity, like if the ask is going to be every year, does the savings, if the same person is enrolling every year, gets the lump sum put in, is the savings that we gain by them being on a high deductible plan, is that going to eventually pay out in the end if we're giving them $1,000 a year in their health savings account?
I'll make a couple of comments and I'll pass it off to Angela. But and each year, employees get the opportunity during the open enrollment period to choose whichever plan. So, and you are correct. This is not the second year. This will be the fourth year that we've done. Because I think when you sat in this chair, we did support. So we've done multiple years of support. So we call it one time because we need to bring it to the committee and the board every year to approve. But at this point, everyone has an opportunity to change their enrollment one time a year. So they'll put that into their calculation and make that part of the decision is, do they get that lump sum to help offset the premium price? So I think we've run numbers and we're pretty comfortable that at the end of the day, this is saving the county more by offering this for the second and more years than it does to pull it away. And Angela, am I capturing that properly?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, but good question. I mean, it's all right. Any other? If not, we will ask you to vote.
I vote aye, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Member Elsasser. You okay, Mr. Renaud? All right. Looks like it passes unanimously. Thank you very much for the support. Moving through the agenda, discussion item. We had no items for discussion. Public comment. We'll open public comments. Anyone for public comments? Seeing none, we will close public comments. We'll open miscellaneous for committee members. Any miscellaneous items you want to bring forward to this committee? Seeing none, we'll close miscellaneous and we will adjourn. Thank you.